Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving my thoughts on JDM, who of course plays Negan from The Walking Dead, wanting to play Thomas Wayne, another version of Batman. So I'll put the link in the description for you guys. It's from Heroic Hollywood, and it references Cinema Blend, an interview with Jeffrey Dean Morgan about his career and the idea of him playing Batman. And he says, maybe when he cast me, that was kind of the goal. Hopefully DC can figure this all out, and in a few years I can come back and do Flashpoint Batman. I would love it. That would be great. And there's some more. He says, I have not had any big discussions with him about Flashpoint, but I remember when we were in Australia doing Watchmen Press, I was having dinner with Zach or whatever, and he was like, my dream is to do the Frank Miller Batman. And he goes, you would be an awesome Batman, the darker version. So I wanted to give my thoughts. A few people asked me, check out the link for yourselves, guys. I think that Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be a perfect fit for the Flashpoint Batman. Now, what do we mean by Flashpoint? So this is basically one of the kind of multiverse DC storylines where another alternate reality, you have Bruce, instead of him losing his parents, you have Thomas, his dad, who loses everybody. So loses his wife and loses Bruce. And then what you have is Thomas, his dad, becomes known as the Flashpoint Batman. He wears gray and red. He's got some red in his costume and stuff. And this is in a storyline called the Flashpoint Paradox. So basically what it would be is he would be playing Batman, but the Thomas Wayne version. So Bruce's dad in that alternate reality. And he's a pretty badass Batman. He's been featured in some of the DC animated stuff where you can see him. He uses a lot of guns. He's very brutal. He's more brutal than Bruce. He'll kill. He'll torture. He'll do all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And he's pretty badass. So to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan play him would be awesome. My only concern would be is I wouldn't want JDM to take on too many projects to get distracted from TWD, of course, because that's the main concern here. Let's get one thing straight, okay? Negan is an important role for me as a viewer, anyway. But the thing about it is he's got other projects going on all the time because he's a really big actor, and after he plays Negan, he's going to be an even bigger actor, obviously, in a few years. Once he's already started playing Negan, but in a few years from now, he'll be even more recognizable, and I'm sure he'll be an even bigger actor because everybody watches The Walking Dead. So yeah, for me as a fan, as long as it doesn't interfere with Dead, I would be really happy to see him play that version, a darker version of Batman. That would be really, really cool. And it's good to hear that he's already kind of discussed it, at least a little bit over with Zach. Because then maybe after the Justice League movie, maybe in a few years from then, we could see a Flashpoint. We've already kind of see hints of Flashpoint where you have kind of the Flash who pops into Batman v Superman and then kind of pops out and everyone's like, what's that? What's going on? So we could maybe see something like that. So it'd be really, really cool. And we'll go through some more Q&A questions for today's Walking Dead Q&A video with you guys. The next one is from Cooper Heywood, and he says, hey Trev, something I've been wondering the entire wait for Season 7 is, how do you think the episode will start out? Do you think it will open zooming out on the victim's remains, or do you think we will see the entire eeny, meeny, miny, mo sequence again in more detail to build suspense? And, of course, actually seeing our character meet Lucille. Thanks, Trev. I've been with you since Season 3, man. You're Talking Dead 2.0 for me. So thanks, Cooper. So to your question, how could they go with this? Well, I mean, there's a few different ways they could go with it with the scene. We saw the sneak peek now, so we know what that looks like in terms of the aftermath of the kill, with possibly the Lucille vampire bat joke as part of him, Negan smashing skulls. And after that, we see Rick. He brings him into the RV and all that as part of the sneak peek. So the question is, like, when does that occur? Will we see it in sequential order? Will they kind of mix it up a little bit as Greg Nicotero has done before in some of his premiere episodes. Like No Sanctuary, he has sequences from kind of back in time and then up to date. And then the next season, he actually listened to our feedback, and to make it more clear, he used black and white for a certain time, and then he used the regular color for, kind of present. So that was cool to see, and I would expect some kind of mixing from him since he's done it for a couple years now. That if he didn't do it at all, that would be a little weird, because this is the third year in a row he's who's going to be directing the premiere. And I don't think he directed the season 4 premiere, did he? Maybe he did. I have to look back. But let's see. Well, 6 and 5, and then this is 7. You have to look. I have to check the app. I can't remember off the top of my head. But either way, I would expect to see some things out of order, at least a little bit in the intro. But I think they're going to show us the Lucille kill. I really do. I don't think they're going to skip that. If you look at the Terminus part, where they've got, there's another brutal kill when they've got Sam, who now plays Penguin in Gotham, who's awesome, by the way. Love Gotham, too. And the guy who played the Alpha Wolf, I think his name is Benjamin, he's playing the Mad Hatter right now in Gotham, which is fun, too. Speaking of DC, and he's great in it, too. So when the one guy hits him with the aluminum bat, and then they cut him on the neck in front of the trough, and then the blood just comes pouring out into it. That's a pretty brutal death too. At least it's quick, but it's still freaking absolutely horrifyingly brutal. So I'm expecting to see them, and they talked about how there's on Talking Dead, I think Nicotero talked about how they rigged it and everything. So I'm expecting to see the actual Negan bat smashing moment. I don't think they're going to skip it, but they may show the sneak peek first or something, or a little part ahead in the intro, and then come back to it after the intro credits or something. But the eeny, meeny, miny, mo sequence, I think they'll have it in a kind of the opening preview where they open the episode and they give us kind of the previous scenes, and then they just catch up to it or something like that. If I had to make a prediction, I think they'll catch up to it in the preview, and then maybe we'll see that right away, and then maybe afterwards. So some kind of mixing or something. We'll have to see how it goes, but I'm expecting to see that sequence play out verbatim from what it is in the comics, pretty much, with some other stuff added on afterwards and some remixing after that. Next one is from James Wilmot. He says, "Hey Trev, how do I block the next videos that will be played when I watch your videos? I have seen spoilers for who dies in the cliffhanger 3 times on upcoming video ads to be played, and spoilers sure ruin for me the episodes where Therese died and Beth." So, I'm really sorry, James. If they're not my videos, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't control the sidebar at all. I don't control the recommended section. By today, I don't even know how it works anymore. I used to have some understanding. I have no idea. If people post videos and it says so-and-so dies, I'm sorry, James. I can't do shit about it, man. I really wish that people wouldn't do that, because it not only does it spoil, but also if people are posting. But to put it in perspective, sometimes people will post that type of thing saying this happens, and then sometimes people will post something else saying that happens, and then sometimes they'll post something else saying this happens. So to be fair, it may not be spoilers at all, because depending on which one you're seeing, it's like, well, make up your mind. Which one is it? At least with me, it's like I tell you guys in spoilers and predictions, this is what I think is going to happen. Does it change sometimes? Yeah, depending on new releases and stuff that comes out. And I'll let you guys know. But at least I try to stick to one story. I mean, come on. So, that's not a poke at anybody. I don't know any of these people. There's a lot of new people on YouTube now. I don't know any of them. So, but yeah, sorry, James. There's nothing I can do about it. It's YouTube, man. I try to represent Walking Dead fans in a positive way and everything, and whatever. But yeah, I don't control the sidebar. I don't control the recommended, and I'm really sorry, brother. I don't think there's any way you can block it out. So is what it is. Next one's from Guide0345, and he says, "After I saw Everybody Eat Chris," I like that because everybody hates Chris. Everybody eat Chris. Noah we talked about the brutal deaths. His is the most brutal. And people did bring up Herschel, and Herschel's is pretty bad too because it's in front of his kids. But at least it's pretty clean and it was pretty quick. It didn't. The governor kind of cut him with the sword, which is pretty fast. It's not as bad, I think, as being beat with a blunt object like Lucille or something like that. He says, "I think AMC can handle the Lucille death without getting in trouble." Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like I said in the brutal video, he's getting his face ripped off, he's getting his body torn apart, and it's one of the scariest things I've ever seen. And I remember online afterwards, everybody was like, "Holy shit, that was the craziest, most rad thing ever in terms of zombie kills," and definitely brought back the fear of the zombies, because you do not want to get stuck with a bunch of zombies on you in a revolving door or something. Oh, so bad. Oh my God, that was so brutal. I think you're right. I think they can put in Lucille death and make it super brutal, and it will be great. Good Weather for an Airstrike, I like that name, says, "Will you do a reaction video for the premiere episode?" Absolutely good weather. I definitely will. And, we'll do all the usual stuff. It'll be a lot of fun, guys. I would do a live stream, but I'm going to be, releasing all the videos after. So we'll do the reaction, we'll do the review, we'll do Q&As, we'll talk about it, we'll do predictions for the next week's episode. It's going to be a great weekend. I just can't wait for Sunday. It's going to be amazing this week coming up. And also tonight with the journey so far, I'm going to be doing, I'll do a recap of that afterwards. Maybe not like a review, but a recap with what I think of it. So if you guys miss it, you can check that out. Or you can watch it and then watch my recap afterwards and see what everybody else thinks in the comments and everything. It's always fun. Last one will be from Ches Mono, Reviews and More, says, "Hey Trev, thought of an interesting topic. Could the stress of the apocalypse be slightly speeding up the aging process?" And for Ches Mono, yeah, absolutely, dude. I do think it is. It would definitely speed up the aging process. Not as much as Carl has aged in like 2.5 years or however long it's been. I have to check the timeline list. But yeah, definitely being in a zombie apocalypse, not having proper nutrition, food, getting dirty, right? Not being able to shower, not being able to stay clean, possibly getting sick. That's one good thing about the prison storyline is it's pretty realistic. If you think about living in a zombie apocalypse, people probably would get sick a lot, right? If you think about it, they would. They'd get ill. And, because it's so dirty everywhere, right? It's like you think of like the time of the Black Plague and stuff and why this all happened. Well, you got the rats and you got shit everywhere. You got bad sewage. So, it's it definitely would. You're fighting zombies every day. You're getting messy and you're not eating well. And, yeah, stress. I mean, oh, come on. I mean, you would age quickly. 5 or 10 years in the zombie apocalypse is like a lifetime, I would want to say. So, yeah, depending on where you're living and if you're moving around a lot. So that'll be it for today's video, guys. I hope you liked it. I'll see you back tonight for a recap of the journey so far. If you did like the video, please don't forget to thumb it up below. You can also share. You can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to subscribe. Thanks for all the support, guys. We only got a week left. So excited, as always, is Trev. And I'm saying peace. See you guys soon. We subscribed to the channel yet? Oh boy, do I think we're getting close.